Hello, my name is Sarah Flanagan, go by Strider. For those of you that followed Lucero's 30-day intensive training, this will just be a little bit of a review, but this is our intro video for Mascot's 30-day intensive, and this time we're going to be doing a video blog. There will still be almost daily picture updates on the Spring Hollow Farm akhal-teke Facebook page, and you'll be able to look back at the 30-day training that I did with Lucero and his own website I made him, kind of like a blog site. Link is below. And Mascot will also have his own website blog page to be able to look back at any videos that you may miss. These videos are going to be edited by my friend Autumn Cole, and she'll be making, I guess, mini episodes once a week, and then we'll have a compilation at the end. So the purpose, of course, of this training is to share about the breed and what their potential is for. We're located in Lexington, Kentucky, or Wilmore, Kentucky, just outside of Lexington, Kentucky. Alright, so with this intro video, I'm going to show you what Mascot looks like now, what he acts like now, and kind of demonstrate my training technique, because I won't go into it as much during the intensive training. Mascot is a coming 5-year-old. He may actually already be 5. Akhal-teke stallion. He is one of the larger breed tekes, so he doesn't look like Lucero and the majority of Cindy's other teke horses. I researched a couple of other training methods, various other places I've worked. I agree a lot with the Lion's method, but it's also just kind of a give and take of whatever works for you. But just to show you what I do, I look for the horse to be calm, and I use the horse's calmness to motivate them so that they'll give me that desired response. So just to show you like a pivot here, when I want this horse to plant his back feet and move his front feet around those back feet, I'm going to try to do it in the calmest way possible, and I'm going to use pressure from my carrot stick to do that. So I'll stand at his shoulder here and ask him to move his shoulders away from me while keeping those back feet steady. So I'm going to apply pressure. Good. And he just lifted that foot there, so I'll reward that by removing my pressure, and then I'll apply my pressure again. Now that's not the response I want. He's backing up now, but it's keeping him calm, and he's giving me a response. He's trying to answer me as opposed to just standing there. And then he ended up moving his feet a shuffle away from me, so that was good. So I'll continue to ask until I get the response I want. That was pretty close. That was good. And then if he crosses here. So now I add my pressure just to get a response. Yes. Good. Yes. Good. So we did some moves around the haunches there, and that of course is just going to continue to improve over time. But through my riding, I'm constantly trying to help the horse stay calm, and I can tell when a horse is calm the same way you can tell if a human is calm. We're looking for relaxation in the face. Tense lips is not a good sign. Eyes wide open and not blinking is not a good sign, and of course holding the breath is not a good sign. So I breathe a lot to help my horse breathe, and I check to make sure that he's thinking, his lips are loose, and oftentimes that'll be accompanied by either drool or some licking and chewing. And then also when the head drops. Right now he's on high alert. You can see him looking around as he was doing most of the lunging as well. And I want him to relax and trust that I'm not going to let anything get to him. He doesn't need to be on high alert right now, which is really hard, especially for a stallion. So yeah. So looking at the horse lunging now, pay attention to things such as his back and how it moves, how he steps underneath of himself or lack thereof, where he's bending, whether it's towards me or away from me, how high his head is, how active his tail is, how active his hind legs are, and how active his front legs are. Over the course of the next 30 days, I'm going to be lunging him a decent amount, but I'm a pretty firm believer that what you have on the lunge line is pretty equivalent to what you have under saddle. So regardless of how much I lunge him, his lunging should look significantly different after 30 days. In the trot, there were a couple times I went out of the frame, but he said no pretty hard by either cantering when he wasn't supposed to or pulling his head completely away from me. Whenever he pulls his head away from me, it's called counterbending, and it actually kind of forces them to run through the inside shoulder, which is why he keeps coming in on me. So what I was working on for the majority of that lunging lesson was pushing him out and forcing him to step under and push his barrel out so that he was bent around me, if you will, which inhibits him from being able to look around. So just having a horse that's bent around you has their focus on you, has their body working the way it should be so that it's not going to break down if they're lunged too often, because I'm sure you've heard of lunging injuries. Or some people who don't even believe in lunging because it can be hard on a horse. But if they're bent correctly and stepping under, it's no different than riding, except with less weight on their backs. It could be better. But it makes it safer for the horse, safer for the lungee, and it's a great way to start stuff that you might either not want to do under saddle or might want to be able to see what's happening before you get on the horse and can't see what he's doing. So like I'll introduce side reins, lunging, so that they can say no any way they please and it won't affect me. Definitely introduce the saddle lunging and you know, various other things. The very last trot that he did when he was tracking right, clockwise around me, he dropped his head significantly and snorted. That's what I was waiting for the whole time. A pretty good sign that he was relaxed, and he wasn't relaxed for the majority of it. So that was him at least signing over and relaxing for me. And then he did it once more. I'd have to look at the video again, but I think it was still at the trot. So it ended well. It ended with him relaxed, which is how I always like to end things, because or else it's not really going to be a good learning experience for the horse. Working with Cindy has been awesome. She's let me just kind of do what I want with the horses. I am a balanced riding instructor. Basically just means that I teach the beginning aspects of dressage, how it relates to the rider and what the rider does, how it affects the horse. I am a dressage rider myself in training with a couple of people here in Lexington, Kentucky. Ellen Murphy is going to be coming out once a week to give me a lesson with Mascot to ensure that we're on the right path and making the biggest strides we can, basically getting the most out of our time together. Emily with Miramont Equine has already given me a lesson on Mascot. It was probably a month and a half ago at this point, but it was my saving grace with Lucero. I used a lot of the stuff that she packed into that first lesson with Mascot on Lucero, so that was awesome, and I'll continue to train with her to be able to carry over as much as I can. The point of this 30-day intensive training is to show off the akhal-teke breed. It just allows me to make as many posts as possible on social media, and hopefully those posts will continue to be shared like Lucero's were, and it'll be a successful endeavor. We're right in the middle of show season now, so we already have shows at the end of the season in September that we know we're going to be doing, and hopefully we'll be able to get some in before then as well, just again to get the tekes out so that as many people as possible can see them and experience them, if you will.